I'm Liz Delaporta, and I'd like to welcome you to the PowerPoint on resilience. Please have a pen and paper handy for the conclusion. What is resilience? Psychological resilience is the ability to mentally and emotionally deal with a crisis and bounce back from difficult life events quickly. Why is it important to be resilient? A resilient person is someone who doesn't obsess on negative thoughts or failures. Instead, they acknowledge the situation, learn from the mistakes, and move forward in the face of adversity. This type of person can deal with change and continue to develop, and is usually an innovative thinker. Are you self-aware? Self-awareness is part of resilience that we can build and learn. It is the ability to see yourself clearly and objectively through reflection and introspection. The self-awareness theory says when we pay attention to ourselves through introspection or some other way, we judge ourselves according to our values. The five senses are used for self-awareness. Self-awareness can also be what's going on inside ourselves, our feelings. So here are the benefits, some benefits to self-awareness. You're more aware of your strengths and weaknesses. You have improved decision-making skills. You strengthen your communication abilities and your relationships. You develop better leadership capabilities and capacity. It encourages positive self-development and self-esteem. Self-awareness allows us to see ourselves from the perspective of others. It can make us better at our jobs, better communicators in the workplace, and can enhance our job-related well-being. So here are some examples of someone practicing self-awareness. So let's use Liz for an example. Liz turns in PowerPoint presentations. She notices the discrepancy between her standards and performance and engages in self-evaluation to determine where it comes from and how to improve. She asks herself what makes the task so hard for her, and she realizes that her material does not flow. She decides to take a PowerPoint class to improve her skills and formats outlines before producing the PowerPoint. She also requests critique and feedback from her colleagues. And now let's talk about Joe. Joe works hard and feels like he's not appreciated by his wife, Norma. They fight about this all the time. He then looks inward and realizes he might be contributing to this problem. He realizes that he is hardly home, and when he is, he works on the computer and spends little time with her. Joe considers his thought process that maybe if he spent more time with Norma, she would not be so bitter about him working so much. They spent time discussing what bothers each other and improved their relationship. Mark suffers from low self-esteem. This is another guy, Mark, which makes him feel depressed. He doesn't put himself out there. Mark starts to work with a therapist to work on his self-awareness. Mark meets a woman who seems interested in him, but he decides not to pursue it. Through his work on self-awareness, he realizes he is afraid she may reject him. He reminds himself that he is a great catch and that he needs to take the chance, or he may miss the opportunity to meet a nice person. These are just a few stories that show what self-awareness can do for you. We will now discuss ways to cultivate self-awareness. Create space and time. Connect with yourself daily. Avoid digital distractions. To feel more connected to others, it's important that we first connect to ourselves. We need to be grounded in who we are before we can have healthy relationships with others. When we connect to ourselves, we're also able to create lives that are meaningful and fulfilling. This process entails recognizing your reactions and feelings so you can respond to your needs and take good care of yourself. Focusing on your feelings also is proactive. Noticing what we are actually feeling protects us from depression, anxiety, addiction, and from engaging in numbing behaviors. Of course, this doesn't eliminate negative feelings or behaviors, but it helps you to cope more healthfully when tough times arise. Here are 5 ways we could strengthen our connection to ourselves. 1, notice our feelings. 2, name our feelings. 3, accept our thoughts and emotions. 4, engage in enjoyable solo activities. And 5, practice self-compassion. Practice mindfulness. Pay attention to your inner state as it arises. Use your 5 senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. An example of this would be that I am aware of myself sitting in this chair looking at my monitor. I feel the chair and see the monitor and hear the speaker. Try mindful walking, eating, and listening. Be in the moment. Find a place to sit that is calm and quiet to you. Bring your attention to your breath. Pay attention to the basic experience of happiness every day. Be appreciative. Notice when your mind has wandered and bring it back. Practice listening. Sounds easier than it is. Pay attention to the speaker. A lot of times you'll notice you're sometimes spacing out when someone's talking. Really try to focus and observe their emotions and body language. Withhold judgment. I know it's hard, but you just have to do it. Reflect, clarify, summarize, and share. Gain a different perspective. Ask for feedback from friends, family, colleagues. Get away on a vacation. Treat yourself. Get yourself a pedicure. Do something for yourself. Look at your trajectory. Take a moment to close your eyes and imagine what your life would look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What would it look like if you had stayed on the same path? Notice how you feel. Does it give you a sense of happiness, excitement, or peace? Be sure to be in good company. Don't be with people that are not good for you or your self-esteem. Really important to spend time in nature. Do something fun. Be healthy. And spend time alone. Solitude gives you the space and clarity to see what's really true for you. Process your thoughts through writing. Record your inner states. Let's try this one together. This is when your pen and paper are going to come in handy. I really would like you to answer the following questions on paper truthfully. Spend the time and think about it. And if you need more time to maybe just jot down the questions and then think about it. What are 3 things? What 3 things do I spend the most time on during the day? Let me repeat that. What 3 things do I spend the most time on during the day? Here's your second question. What's a reoccurring, limiting thought of mine that's holding me back? How would my life look if that thought wasn't there? So let me repeat that. There's 2 parts to a question. What's a reoccurring, limiting thought of mine that's holding me back? And how would my life look if that thought wasn't there? Here's a third question. I feel accomplished when. Complete that sentence. I feel accomplished when, and then finish it off. Question number 4. How do other people's successes make me feel? This should just write down what quickly comes to your head. Again, how do other people's successes make me feel? Number 5. Something I don't really love about myself is, but I can grow to accept it by. So let me repeat that. Something I don't really love about myself is, but I can grow to accept it by. Finish that sentence off. Number 6. How does fear hold me back? One more time. How does fear hold me back? And one final question. How can I make a positive impact today? Again, how can I make a positive impact today? So if you need more time to answer those questions and go back to them, but in the meantime, I hope you took at least one thing away from this resilience PowerPoint. And remember, you can always learn to improve your self-awareness.